What is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Talking Timepieces with Tony. Yeah, it's me, Tony. I am wearing my Zenith Pilot El Primero. I don't love this watch, man. It's my daily watch, for the most part. It's the watch I wear the most. That one in my Cartier, Pasha. If this had anti-reflective coating on it, that would be sick. But it doesn't, so. And today, okay, so I missed a question yesterday. I'm not going to roll any intro today, but I missed a question yesterday from Crazy Joe DeVola. So I'm sorry, brother. I didn't mean to. And I just happened to realize I missed it. So I'm going to answer that, but I'm going to just kind of chat because I didn't normally do 2 videos a week, at least two, but this week was so freaking crazy, man. I got nothing. You know what I'm saying? I say I got nothing, but I'm just going to wing it. But let me go into this question, and then I'll talk about a few things, including what's my next watch going to be, I think. All right, so this is question. How do you manage waiting for that anticipated Rolex from your AD? Do you or does anyone out there find it hard to maintain patience and AD loyalty as the long weeks turn into long months for a waitlist model? There's a few answers to that. The first one is patience. 2, you have to follow up. But I get it because sometimes you just don't get the call and it can be frustrating. I'm really patient. I can just wait. I don't care. And nothing's going to force me to go to the gray market to buy it. Whatever, if that's your trip, by all means, go ahead and do it. But that's not mine. But sometimes you kind of go, hey, man, I've been waiting 2 years for a date just, and that's getting a little bit, something's going on there, because if you can't get a date just, something is definitely not right. Now, keep in mind the watch market has changed quite a lot in the last 6 months, last year even. If you guys are paying attention or follow what the watch market is doing, I tend to not really follow the market secondary and what pieces are going for or what they're not. But I do know that the market is, people don't want to spend money right now. You know what I mean? For the majority of us, we'd rather put the money in the bank at this point. Whereas, when we went through that whole crazy, can't get a watch, oh my God, can't get a watch. And there was that fear of missing out. Everyone put their names on the list at their ADs and they're not getting watches. And that was a little bit more understandable because all of a sudden, the demand just way exceeded, what their supply is. So supply and demand, right? Rolex in general, they make more date just than any other model because it's their most popular model. That's the model that I first got interested in Rolex in. It's the only model I knew. I never even knew they had other models. I'm going back way back, but but now date justs are fairly easy to come by. You shouldn't have to wait too long. And if that's the case, sometimes it's just the AD either playing games or they're holding on to watches, but that's going to change. All right. I think. Now, I don't have my magic watch ball to help me out or a crystal ball right now, but I do think that, for one, we all know that Rolex is building another facility. They're trying to increase production. They already make over 1 million watches a year, right? And the supply is still less than what the demand is, and because now people aren't wanting to spend the money like they were, or they're getting the calls and they're freaking out and they're not buying the watches. It's going to get to a point where, and plus the gray market, I'm sorry, is so flooded with watches, you know what I mean, that these watches have to go somewhere, and what might happen is some of these ADs might be shooting themselves in the foot by playing that game of nope. They're vetting their customers really hard, as to who they're going to sell to. Now, Patek do that. Patek vet their customers really hard. All right. Now, I did see a video where someone said no one knows how many watches Patek Philippe makes. They make between 50,000-60,000 watches a year. Is what we all seem to know. Terry Stern said in an interview, and I actually watched it again last night because one of my viewers asked me about this, about Terry Stern saying how they vet their customers. And what they do is Patek themselves don't vet the customers. What they do is they tell their ADs that be careful who you're selling to, because they don't want people to go buy a watch from Patek and then sell it on the gray market. Because what Patek do, Patek go on the gray market and they see a watch like a, whatever you want to, whatever, say it's a, probably wouldn't happen so much with a Calatrava as it would with a master complication, whatever, and they buy those watches back from the gray market. Then they find out where that watch was initially sold. And then they'll contact the AD and say, hey, why did you sell this watch to that person? Because this is exactly what they did. And if Patek finds out that the AD had something to do with the gray market aspect of it, they're going to lose their Patek dealership. They're not going to be able to sell Patek anymore. Is it worth it? But that's what Patek do. And that's not coming from me just imagining it. I just literally watched this again from a video of Terry Stern. So, but also when you look at Rolex, see, the thing is with someone like Patek, they're being more selective. They almost don't want you to have a watch. They do, but they don't. They've got to generate new customers from somewhere. They're not going to start you with a 5711 and then because that's the end all. In fact, they want you to start with like an Ellipse, a Calatrava, and work your way up from there. You know what I mean? So they don't want you to just be a one and done Patek customer. They want you to be part of the family, so to speak. Rolex, they want to sell you a watch. Rolex are not in the business of not selling watches. Well, none of these companies are. But the thing is especially with the amount of the amount of watches Rolex make on a yearly basis, plus doing everything they can to expand, it's not Rolex that are holding these watches back. It's the ADs, And if you're not able to get your watch, then it can get frustrating. You know what I mean? It really comes down to, do they even like you? Did you make a good impression? You know what I mean? Like, I've said this many times, like, you have to make a good impression on them. And of course, you're the one spending the money, but you still have to make a good impression. If you go in there like a spoiled little brat, you're never going to get anything. Granted, your AD has to be cool too, but at the same time, when you're an asshole and you go in there and you're demanding a Rolex or you're demanding this, you're never going to get it, man. And being an asshole doesn't ever get you anywhere in life. I don't understand why people think that being that way is going to get you something and then get you further in life, because all I ever seen it do, granted, you might, get that extra month of cable for free because something happened and you go up in there screaming, yelling. They just want to get you off the phone. You know what I mean? Like, they're F you, man. When you're dealing with retail with watches, they don't have to sell anything to you. That old sign you used to see in restaurants: no shoes, no shirt, no service, or it's up to us, our discretion, to serve who we want. It really comes down to it. People have this attitude now like the world owes them a living, and no matter what, they're right, you're wrong. And that's not how it works. And you wonder why you don't get your watch. It's just a watch, but at the same time, they also want to have a good relationship with the person they're selling that watch to. They want repeat business. Some people don't handle it so well. Customers and ADs both. Works both ways. Granted, like I said, I can be the most patient person in the world, and then I can be finally going, fuck it, I don't even care anymore. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that much to me. You know what I mean? People tell me about, like, oh, you gotta get your Daytona right now. Pfft, dude, whatever. I don't care. I'm not going to keep asking. I'm not going to beg. You know what I mean? I'm not going to go, oh my God, did you get my, no, I'm not that guy. You know what I mean? Really, should be like, hey, this is what I want. I've spent this much money and whatever, and I'd like to get this. Cool. And then you tell me this or whatever. Cool. And then that's it. If it comes in, it comes in. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But in this case, it doesn't mean anything to me, which leads me to my next watch. I'm almost certain it's going to be a Zenith. You know what I mean? Zenith have just been so cool with me. Plus, obviously, they make phenomenal watches. Granted, not hype watches, And But I'm being a little bit more careful and selective how I'm spending my money. I've spent a ton of money. You know what I mean? I don't need another watch. I don't need a watch. I need one watch. That's it. You know what I mean? But that's not how it works when you're in this big rabbit hole or you're in the watch realm. You know what I mean? You just keep going deeper and deeper. So I'm thinking about a Zenith. I'm thinking about a triple calendar. But I'll tell you, as much as I love the triple calendar, the thing is, it's the amount of complications on it. Now, granted, it's I can't see the day and date on that triple calendar. The moon phase is the most important aspect of it for me. And so, do I really need all those complications, or do I want all those complications when I'm really not going to utilize them? You know. So, as beautiful as the watch is, it's not really going to serve me in the sense I'm going to use it as what it's meant to be used for. You know. I do love the Defy, um, the one that came out in 1969. My God, what's the Revival? And then they came out with a new Defy that's 600 meters water resistance, which was initially from 1969. But they have one, and it's a burgundy dial, which I really love it. I'd put it on a rubber strap. I just don't like that ladder bracelet. I don't like the Zenith ladder bracelets. They have the new Extreme Diver, which is really nice, but it's 42 and a half millimeters. And so the specs wise, it's probably a big watch, too big for me, but I like it. So I'm going to go into Bindi probably maybe next week and see what they got. And make a decision, and then again, sometimes I plan on going in and picking something up and I get something completely different. And sometimes I go in there not wanting to pick anything up, and then I do spend 10 grand or 11 grand on a watch. So I don't know, you know what I mean? I also want to check out the Tag Heuer or the Kith Heuer watches, just to see if they have any for one, and what it would look like on my wrist at 35 millimeters. Um, the whole Kith thing. Now, I'm going to go into this. I think the difference between like a Kith Heuer, for instance, and the Swatch Moon Swatch, because apparently there's a lot of comparisons going around with that. You can't compare the two, and I'll get into another video with that. So I guess this was kind of just a little rambling sort of video, and I hope you guys watch it. And if you like, I do appreciate you guys who like and subscribe and watch the videos. So we'll see you on the next one.